Hello, beautiful mamas. As a working mom, sometimes I can really feel scattered, unorganized, or simply just rushing from one thing to another and all over the place. Finding time for myself and finding my sanity can almost feel like an impossible dream. Can you relate? Well, this is why I have created my free Mama's Guide to Creating Balance and Harmony as my gift to you. This guide contains my top 10 tips to creating balance and harmony in your life, as well as 3 beautiful trackers to help you get onto your journey in a fun and simple way. I have found by incorporating daily self-care routines and practices in my life for as little as 5 minutes a day, I am feeling more grounded, centered, and calm. By me tapping into my best version through these practices, I am also a better mom, a better partner, and a better colleague. Well, really, just a better human being in all the ways. So, if this sounds like something that you would like to explore, click on the link in the show notes below and download your free guide today.
We were all born with the innate power of knowing and wisdom within us. The challenge for many of us is that we were taught to seek answers externally instead of searching from within. And this is the reason why so many of us find ourselves going around in circles, searching for new ways, but could never find the way. The womanly way. It's not the way. It's not my way. But it is a pathway to support all of us returning back to self, reconnect with our inner wisdom through loving ourselves, knowing ourselves, and reconnecting with ourselves.
Tell me and be honest. Tell me should I've known.
So we can start to find our own way as modern day women. Are you interested? Well, sit back, relax, and welcome to this amazing journey.
Hello. Welcome to this episode of the Womanly Way podcast. I am your host, Lala Angela Wang. If you think my voice sounds a bit different, in fact, if you might be thinking, Lala, have you got your sexy voice on? I have. I've got a cold at the moment. I don't know whether it's a beginning of a cold or one that's lingering around because George has been sick for the past week. And I feel like this is mum life, right? Life of a mom, a full-time working mom with a toddler that goes to daycare 5 days a week. Because it's just like, it's a never-ending cycle, really. And this is the reason why I am so willing to invest in supplementation or supplement in my life in the highest quality. Because one, it's good for me, and as a working mom and main breadwinner of the business of our family, I really need to look after myself. At the same time, right now, there's not a lot of supplementation for kids, and so it is a bit difficult to give George some of the supplements. But he started taking vitamin C. We've always given him probiotics to help his gut health, because you all know gut health is the start of all health, right? If you want to be healthy, look after your gut, and that's number one thing. So today we are going to talk about all the things Carnivore Diet and give you a bit of an update on where I am. But before we start, this new trend of ours of pulling a card for every episode, we're going to continue. So I just pulled out a card before I started this episode, and I asked, what's the thing that you want me to share around Carnivore Diet? And it's really interesting. It's actually the same card that I pulled out for our last episode last week. And this is again out of the Wild Kuan Yin Oracle. And it's number 43, called Sister of the Shambhala Shows the Way. So essentially what this card is saying to you is, if whenever you feel lost, just remember that your spiritual team is always behind you. They will always be there to support you. Even when you feel lonely and there's just no support, always look for them for support. Right? It'll always show you the way. And it's really, really interesting. As funny as it is, when I looked at it, I'm like, are you playing a game with me, Spirit? Why are we pulling out the same card? It is really deeply related to my journey to the carnivore diet. I was against it at the beginning when I first hear about it. And as you know, if you've been following Leah Steele for a little while, she's been on a carnivore diet journey. And when she first started, she's like, we had a conversation about it, and she's like, well, what do you think? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's me. I don't know. But then slowly but surely, I had these nudges from Spirit. They're like, you've got to do it. You've got to do it. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do it, and it just sounded like too out there. And my biggest concern has always been constipation, not being able to go to the toilet. That was my absolute biggest concern, and I've had problems in the past. So for me, I'm like, oh, what if I can't go to the toilet? And I know how painful it is. And then I started researching about it and realized there are ways and things that you could do to help with that. And I'm happy to report I've actually been going to the toilet a lot in a healthy way. Like generally, if you're healthy, you're actually meant to go to the bathroom about twice a day. So that's quite regular for me now. And I'll cover that side of things. We'll go into more detail. So I started in January with a 3-day water fast to cleanse myself, and then eased into carnivore first with white meat and eggs. And I have to admit, the first month was great. I've lost weight and I can really see the benefit. But then birthday season approached in March, so I literally completely dropped the ball. But what I can really see and feel is as soon as I dropped the ball and gone back to not so healthy diet and with a lot of processed food, carb, and also some vegetables I actually can't really have. It make me really bloated. All the symptoms that I managed to escape the right word, or like I didn't have when I was on the carnivore diet from January to February, all came back. My psoriasis has worsened. It became really inflamed and itchy, and doesn't matter how much cream I put on, it's still itchy. And so earlier this month, I made a decision to go back to the carnivore diet fully with a couple of minor tweaks. Like every now and then, I'm allowing myself a little bit of treat. I tend to be, because at the same time, besides going carnivore, I also went on sugar-free. So my little treats generally includes a little bit of sugar, not so much carb. I'm really trying to avoid carb at the moment. And this week is week 2, and I am really re-seeing the results again. And I've only just had my first treat today. So since I'm pretty sure it was the 6th of May, I've only just had my first treat. Because what I was finding, right, April, I tried to reintroduce the carnivore diet back to my life. And in April, I was like, okay, I'm going to allow myself 1 treat a week. What it turned out to be was, like, by the 6th day, I'm really only just building up momentum. And then by having this treat, it pretty much ruined it for me. So in May, my decision was go on to the carnivore diet pretty much 95% of the time. And I'm allowing myself a little bit of treat at times. And really, as soon as I made that decision, as soon as I gone back to carnivore, I'm really seeing the result. My psoriasis has got a lot better, and it's not as itchy. I don't have to put as much cream or reapplying cream during the day. I'm going to the toilet every day, twice a day. And I don't know, I just feel healthier. By the way, part of the reason that I've decided to do this podcast today is because a lot of people have been asking me in the past week about carnivore diet, and I thought, you know what, let's just do an episode about it, and let's just give you guys a bit of updates, give you guys a bit of my journey and lessons learned, what I've learned through doing carnivore diet. Probably should have said it at the beginning, but you know me. So you might be asking, like, what's changed this time around? What allows me to be more committed instead of going on this carnivore yo-yo? I think it's more realizing, if I don't do it, it's not going to improve. I really came onto this lifestyle wanting to improve my gut health and my psoriasis. For those of you who don't know, any skin conditions, dermatitis like eczema or psoriasis, generally are triggered by an unhealthy gut environment. So if you can look after your gut health, then then your skin will improve. So 2 weeks of pretty much 95% carnivore, my body odor has gone again. So this is what I noticed the first time around. You have no body odor once you get onto the carnivore diet. It's quite common. My number twos still have smell, but last time when I did, after a month, really, they don't have any smell anymore. Like I said, I can go to the bathroom, and this is for those of you who are curious about bathrooms, I actually eat a lot more butter this time around, and I reduced it a lot, slightly this week, because I'm currently aiming to get under 60 kilos. So I've reduced the fat a little bit and just adjusting the amount of fat is going to help you with so the more fat you have, the easier it is to go to the bathrooms. You also need a lot of water and a lot of salt. All of those things are going to help you with your bathroom and your bowel movement. So I'm currently playing around with the amount of butter that I would have as a healthy amount. What I've also learned is that you don't have to, carnivore doesn't have to break the bank. There's 1 or 2 YouTubers online that really shows you a budget-friendly carnivore version. And I've tried it out this week. Seriously, it's actually quite cost economical. It can get a little bit boring, and that's why I kind of switch it up a little bit. But basically, if you stick with, and all of these things are as organic as you can go, but I'm going to tell you which ones I go organic with. I go free range most of the times. So you go the foundations of a budget friendly carnivore. You can go, and I'm going strict carnivore, so I actually don't take dairy. Well, I can't say don't take dairy because butter is dairy. Kind of. Well, yeah, butter's made out of milk, right? So I don't drink milk. I don't have cheese or very small amount of cheese just because it doesn't work with my sinus situation. And I rarely have any yogurt. Generally, I will have a spoon of yogurt when George is having his, but that's it. And that's probably once every 2 days or 3 days. So for me, my budget-friendly carnivore meal consists of beef mince. And you can have pork mince too. Pork mince has got more fat content, which is great. Any mince, basically. And then eggs. You can have lots of eggs, and people are concerned about, what about your cholesterol and things? It will go up initially, but then gradually over time, when you've been on this diet for a long time, it will actually stabilize. And a lot of people are saying that basically it will be better than normal. Essentially, you'll find your cholesterol will eventually drop when our body gets used to the diet. And a couple of other things you can incorporate in there, obviously, like, mince and egg, that's so boring. Chicken wings, that's something I definitely go organic, because the amount of hormones and things that people put in our poultries, and it's always done through two locations, the tail end and then the wings. So when you get chicken wing, they're very affordable, but when you get chicken wing, you want to make sure that they're definitely from an organic source. Okay, and then organic sausages. I've got these organic sausages from my free-range butcher, and they're gluten-free as well. So you want to make sure it's a gluten-free, organic, free-range sausage. You might go, well, that's very expensive. It's not too bad, because so I buy them when they're on sale. They are $35 for 3, and between Scott and I, one box serves as a meal, basically. So, that is roughly about $11.50 between two people. So essentially $6 per head per meal. And one thing you need to remember is with the carnivore diet, because meat is harder to digest, you're actually not going to have as much. Right? So I bought a big 2-kilo mince container, and that lasted me about probably 8 meals. So that's 4 meals between Scott and I, or 8 meals on my own, right? Eggs are really filling as well. Now, the other thing that I have found out recently through my investigation on Instagram is that sardines are great. They're low in fat, but they're very, 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 very filling. You definitely don't want to have too much sardine. Actually, fun fact. So the other day I was having a can of sardine with 2 eggs in my office. And then like halfway through mixing it, I was like, I'll just put a sardine in the egg and do an omelette instead. What I do is I add a bit of water with my scrambled eggs and then put it in the microwave for about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how much eggs I've got. And you have to stir in between. And that makes a really nice scrambled egg and really easy, right? But I forgot that sardine stinks when you heat it up. I completely forgot about it and did not think about it. As the food starts to heat up in the microwave, I can smell this fishy smell. I'm like, oh my God, no, I did it. No. And the funniest thing was that morning I actually cooked out a batch of fish and decided not to take to work, simply because I knew it was going to stink up the office. But yet I still decided to put my sardine into my egg and heat it up with the microwave. And me being me, I was like, oh, surely it doesn't smell that bad. So I quickly finished my eggs and sardine eggs and went back to my seat. And next morning I was telling a colleague about it, and they're like, oh, it was you. Apparently everybody knew about the stink in the office the day before, but nobody knew who it was. So I just fessed up and confessed. I mean, that's just me, right? But I just thought it was really funny. So if you are eating sardine in the office environment, don't put it in the microwave. But really, that is economical, but also very filling. So if you think about 2 eggs, and eggs is something I always go organic as well, or free range at least. 2 eggs plus a can of sardine, that's roughly about, depending on what kind of egg that you're getting, it's less than $10 per meal. Right, so carnivore doesn't have to be expensive. It just depends on what you want to have. And once a week, I'll probably go for some sashimi because I just love sashimi. And that's my splurge. So instead of going for like junk food or things that's, not great for my body as my splurge, I now go to fancy carnivore food as my splurge. And this week, we literally did not have steak. Because steak's probably one of the most expensive protein that you can get. Chicken's generally cheaper, and we had a whole duck that was half price, which was shared between Scott and I for about two meals. Still got some of it in the fridge. Yeah. So there are ways. The other thing that you could do is use things like cream cheese, sour cream, cooking cream. You can actually use cream. And if you're not on a sugar restriction like me, you could also have like full cream vanilla ice cream. Or you can make them yourself as well. And you can have cheesecake, just not the base. You can have the bake cream cheese portion, just not the cookie base. So there are options, and you can still splurge and enjoy some of your, if you're sweet tooth like me, that's not on a sugar restriction, you can still have all of those. And what I'm really finding is my skin is getting better. There's a glow about my skin. Like I said, my psoriasis has got so much better. But also I feel better. I'm not bloated when I'm on carnivore diet. I'm not as hungry, which also, like, if I control my portion and not fill myself up too much, I also find myself not having that dip. You know how sometimes you have lunch and you feel really sleepy? A lot of it is coming from the carbs or any food that's any fibrous food as well. I find in the past for me, things like cauliflower, broccolis, I can't really have a lot of those as well. They make me really bloated. Carb also makes me really drowsy. So it really means that my head is a lot more clear. Someone asked me the other day, well, what about, do you feel stronger? I'm like, no, that's not the intention of me doing the carnivore diet. And no, I don't feel stronger. I don't feel like my endurance is improved. In fact, I wouldn't know, because I really don't go to the gym all that much, and I don't lift weights all that much at the moment. I will go back to it, I think, later on this year. But right now I'm really enjoying doing body combat. I do that as much as I can, generally at least once a week when time permits. And yeah, I'm loving it. But what I'm also finding this time around, by incorporating the frequency rice nootropics, it's got 7 organic mushrooms in there and 11 harmonic frequencies in there as well. Plus also their source trace mineral. I am having a lot more energy at the gym. I'm able to push myself beyond my threshold a little bit better, which means I can push myself just a little bit further whenever I'm doing body combat. For those of you who don't know what a body combat class is, it's essentially mixed martial art with music, but you don't have an opponent. So it's like air boxing, basically. I've been doing that since when I was in high school. I'm just going to show my age. When I was 17, I would say. So almost 25 years. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And I've got a community of people and friends I've known since, this gym that I go to started in 2010 maybe. So it's something that I really love, that gives me a lot of joy. And I think that's the thing. Staying healthy also means you have to do things that you love. There's nothing worse going to the gym for the sake of doing and you hate it, because a half an hour workout would feel like a 2-hour workout to you, and you're not motivated. Whereas for me, I look forward to go to my body combat class, especially when I know a good instructor is there. And I'm very lucky that the gym that I go to has some of the best instructors here in Sydney. So I'm very grateful for that. And I think, so from a feeling stronger perspective, I'm not, but I have more energy, especially now combining the two products that I just spoke about. I feel like I'm much more supported from a health perspective. And the other thing with the nootropic and mushrooms is that a lot of them have anti-inflammation properties, which also then help with my gut health. Right? I did a post the other day. It's gut health really is linked with our mental health. Because, and I think it's a no-brainer, right? When your gut is not healthy, you know, that sluggish feeling when you just like feel so, ugh, like your brain isn't going to be at its maximum performance. It just isn't. And no wonder people say that our gut is our second brain, because it truly is. And there's a brain and gut connection that's naturally there when we're born. The only thing is, because we have treated our gut so poorly, you know, we've lost that connection. And because our guts feel really blah, our brain feels very blah too. And you'll find when you can clear the inflammation in your gut, number one, obviously your skin gets better, but your brain fog gets cleared. Because the brain fog, I truly, truly believe, is linked to our gut health. So if you ask me, would I be permanently on carnivore? My answer is probably, I don't know. I really don't know at this stage. I can really see the benefit of it. Oh, actually, yes. One other thing. When I first started this journey, I was 67 kilos. So when I weighed myself on the 31st of December or on the 1st of January, before I started the whole thing, I was 67 kilos. And right now, as of today, I'm 61. At the beginning of May, I was 63. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I was 63 kilos. And when I recommitted myself back onto this journey, so the past 2 weeks alone, I've lost 2 kilos. So you will lose weight on this, just because your body's actually burning more fat, burning more things that requires a lot more energy than eating all the processed food that's easy to digest. Right? So yes, it has got that benefit too. And like I said, the reason that I'm playing around with my fat ratio and the kind of food that I eat is also because I want to get under 60. Now right now I'm still the heaviest I have been. When I was at 67, it was like I just felt so sick. So I really want to get back into an optimum weight. And for me, that's around 52 to 55. I'm only 151 centimeters. So that's a healthy range for me. But my first milestone is to get under 60. And then from there, we work towards, by the end of the year, I want to get to 55 by Christmas. So what you may have noticed is, even though I know that I could be really extreme and get into a really fast weight loss journey, I choose to take it slow, because that is being kind to my body. You know, there's nothing worse to get into a crash diet and then your body would just be in stress mode. It's no point putting your body in stress when you're trying to reduce inflammation in your body. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. When your body's in stress, you're increasing inflammation. So even though you've lost weight, you've also damaged your gut and other parts of your body, right? Your internal organs and all those things. And that's really not what my intended purpose is. I really want to get to a healthy weight in a healthy way. And that's through mind, body, spirit practice, right? That's through eating the right food. That's through going through my carnivore, but not feeling like I have to restrict myself on the things that I perhaps sometimes enjoy. But what I have also noticed was I had a sweet earlier today because I was like, oh, I really miss having that sugar taste. But after having it, I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to have it again. Or if I do, it will be at a much, much smaller portion, because sweetness to me now is just too much. I can't really take it anymore. For me, it's like, I don't know if I want to have that much sweetness in my life, which is great, right? Now, some of the other questions that people ask me is, what are some of the supplements and things that you'll need to take to help replenish some of the things that you perhaps don't get in protein? The truth is, you get a lot. The nutrients, the minerals, and the healthy ingredients that you think you only get from vegetables and carbohydrate, a lot of it is in the meat already. Meat has got carbohydrate content, right? Carbohydrate is actually what? Water. Part of it is water. Part of it is fat. Part of it is sugar, right? And animals also have carbohydrate within their system. Maybe not as high as human beings, but there are water content in those meat. So from a carbohydrate perspective, you're covered. From a mineral perspective, you'll find meat actually contains a lot of those minerals that we think we're missing. But what I am doing is I'm taking hydrolyte, and it's a specific brand of hydrolyte that I take as well, that gives me my magnesium, that gives me the supplements that I need. Also the trace mineral and the nootropic with 7 mushrooms. Pretty much between those 3 things, I'm getting all the things that I need to complete my nutrition. Right, so from a nutrient perspective, I'm not lacking in nutrient, and I think that's why my body is performing a lot better, and that's why I feel a lot better as well. So if after this episode you're like, you know what, that is actually my thing, I would really recommend you, and there's plenty of research that you could do out there. There's a lot of good content out there on Instagram, or I'm mainly on Instagram when it comes to Carnivore Diet search, or even there's a lot of good blogs out there. Or the other thing that you could do is I've actually started a new Instagram called Family Freedom Creator. And in there, I'm going to start really talking about my journey, my carnivore journey, sharing recipes, ideas, and all those kind of things. Or if you have any questions, you can still obviously message me on Facebook, Instagram, all the socials, or on my email, mywomanlyway@gmail.com. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope this has given you a bit more insight around what carnivore diet is, and how practical it is for you perhaps. And I think for me, it really is, give it a go for a month. Try it for a month. Unless you're really not a meat person, give it a go and let your body feel into it. And this is really what I'm learning through this process of healing my gut and my psoriasis. I'm more connected with my body. I understand and I can feel, with each of my decision, how that's affecting my gut health and my skin. And if it's not a be or end all, right? Any diet, any lifestyle, it's not a be or end all. It's more what's suitable for you. And I think that's why, Spirit gave me the oracle card that we pulled out. Sister of Shambhala shows the way. Spirit will show the way. Your own divinity, your own higher self will show you the way. You just need to continue to check in with yourself. Is this for me? Do I feel good with this? Do I feel, lighter? Do I feel healthier? And I think quite often, because we're not used to checking in with ourselves that way, it could feel a little bit unfamiliar. But the more you do it, the more familiar you'll feel. And it's really just about giving it a go. And if you want to give it a go, I would recommend at least 30 days, if not 60, to really see the full benefit and really diarizing it on a daily basis. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Womanly Way podcast. We'd love if you can give us some feedback or even, spread the word and share the episode with the people that you love. Thank you so much once again, and I will talk to you later. Bye.